Here's how to not get shot whenever you get pulled over. So last week, I'm driving home. It's like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, something like that. I come up to this intersection. The light's red in front of me. It turns to a green arrow. Next, it's going to be a green light. But as I'm waiting, and there's still a green arrow, a cop pulls up right here, and I see him. And then another car pulls up like this. And then they don't even slow down, they just turn right there. And I look over at this car, and it's turning, running the red light. And I look at the cop, and he's not doing anything. And then I see the light turn green, and so I pull forward, and the cop pulls forward. And then I'm like, what's he doing? And I look up, and I'm like, he's got a green light, which means I've got a red light. And I'm like, well, I'm in the middle of the intersection now. So I just went ahead and pulled on through. Next thing you know, whoop, whoop, cop pulls me over. So he pulls me over, he starts walking up to my car, I roll down my window, I start explaining what I just explained to you, this is what happened, it was a misunderstanding, the light malfunctioned, whatever. I talk fast anyway. I normally never drink caffeine or sugar. However, I was at a friend's house and I was supposed to get fed and it didn't happen, so I was hungry. I stopped at this gas station. The only thing to really eat was a muffin and a coffee, so I went ahead and had that. And I didn't realize that I never drink caffeine and I've really been avoiding sugar, and I was talking very fast. So no sooner do I tell the cop what's going on, and he's like, "Sir, are you on anything?" And I'm like, "No, why would you say that?" So then he asked to see my driver's license, which I promptly pull out, and I'll show you. Here's a picture of it. I look pretty stupid in it. I think it's hilarious. Cops don't think it's as hilarious. Then he's like, "Can I see your insurance?" I'm like, "Sure." So I open up my glove box, hand him my insurance card. He's like, "What's that bottle of pills?" I'm like, "I don't have a bottle of pills." And I open up the glove box again, I look, and I'm like, yeah, sure enough I do. It's aspirin. And he's like, Years ago, somebody says to me, "Hey, you have a headache? Here's some aspirin." And they put it in an empty prescription pill bottle with no label on it. And I don't think anything of it because it's aspirin and I don't do drugs, so whatever. So they've been sitting in my glove box for literally years, but I've completely forgotten about it because whatever. Anyway, he's all like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's aspirin." So I pour it out and I'm like, "See, it says aspirin." He remains unimpressed. He goes back to his car. He comes back to me. He goes, "Sir, can you step out of the car?" I'm like, "Okay." So I step out of the car. He's like, "Go sit over there, or go stand over there in the grass." I'm like, "Okay." So I put my hands in my pockets, and he's like, "Get your hands out of your pockets." I was like, "Whoa, man, sorry. I didn't mean to freak you out or whatever." And he's like, "What do you have in there?" I was like, "Wallet, keys, cell phone." And I'm like, "You want me to show you?" And he goes, "I'm going to pat you down." I'm like, "Okay." So he pats me down, and sure enough, it's wallet, keys, and cell phone. Then he talks some more. He asks me some questions, and literally everything he asked me is like, "No, I don't do that." But it all looks really fishy. It's all just like, "No, I never have sugar. I never have caffeine. I don't do drugs." He asked me, "Are you on something?" I'm like, "No, man, I got 30 years sober." He goes, "Sober off of what?" I'm like, "Everything. I was really a problem." But he's all like, well, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, then he calls for backup. So now there's 3 cops sitting there. He's like, "Sir, can we search your car?" I'm like, "Knock yourself out." My ex had been in my car a couple days before because we were working a job, and 2 days after that, a friend of mine's sitting in my car, and he goes, "Why do you have cigarettes in here?" I'm like, "I don't have cigarettes, I don't smoke." And he goes, "Well, what are these?" And he reaches in between my seat, and he pulls out cigarettes. I'm like, crap, yep. I think she left them in here. So I was just like, I'll put them right there, I'll give them back to her next time I see her. Anyway, so now I've got, I'm talking really fast. I've got what looks like prescription pills in my glove box. I've got cigarettes there, and my story just doesn't look like it's going to add up. So they're going to search my car, and I'm thinking, well, I hope nobody else dropped anything in my car I didn't know about, because I have people in my car all the time, but I never really look at it. Long story short, needless to say, they didn't find anything because I don't do anything, but they did give me a whole lot of grief, and they kept me there for 45 minutes. Finally, they said, "Okay, well, we're going to let you go on just a warning." I'm like, "Thank you, I really appreciate it." And then they're like, "But are you sure you're okay to drive?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I live like literally a mile down the road. I was tired, my friend's having problems, and I've been talking to him. I was mildly distracted by that, and then the light malfunctioned, and I'm really sorry." And then they let me go. That's how to not get shot when you get pulled over. It's just, I don't know, like probably don't do anything wrong and then don't be argumentative and stuff.